What's up, guys, and welcome to another show. Let's talk with Rodney. I have a great guest on here today. He calls himself the Prince of R&B. That's a big
Uh,
title. So, what does that mean?
what's going
Like the
on?
Prince of R&B.
I mean,
What's up,
honestly,
dude?
when that whole King of R&B thing struck, a lot of people kept trying to get me to throw my hat in the ring. But I just felt like that conversation was, it was a bit left field only because you got the great still alive. I mean, you got Babyface who started singing, Joe, Tank, Anthony
Uh-huh.
Hamilton, Calvin. Like these people are started doing things. So I remember being in the studio and working with these producers, Milk and Sis. Like, we would really say you like, like the Fresh Prince of R&B. So I was like, yeah, I feel you. I don't really want to, just claim another title, but it's crazy enough. I was in another session and somebody else said it. So I was like, oh shit. All right, well, hold on then. If we just gonna start saying it, then I just kind of adopted it. I made a playlist called the Fresh Prince R&B on Spotify, and it just kind of grew with everything. Like I kind of put it out there and then never said it verbally. So I was like, I really want to see, I feel like sometimes with titles, you can't really just go around self-proclaiming all the time. So I was like, let me put it
Yeah,
out
you
there, let
can.
me
And that's
see
why
if
I'm
it
like,
sticks.
but I mean, you wearing it well. I mean, you have your
Appreciate it.
single out. You have made an album cover with the whole team rolling out magazines. So, for the people who
Yeah.
don't know you, that's tuning in, I got to hit them myself. Can you tell people who you are and what you do?
So my name is Felixx. I'm an R&B singer. And I just tell people I'm just a country boy that had really, really big dreams. So, come from a very small town, very traditional 9 to 5 type of family. Like all my cousins played basketball. They were all like 6'5", 6'6". And I was just like, oh, shit, I can sing, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of became, it was a joke in the family because I'm like, like I'm the short cousin that does music. But it was like, hey, like I'm dead ass. Like I can do this for real. So really, it kind of just spawned from singing in church all the way to, I was meeting my manager, Anthony Khalil, signed with Loud and Clear Entertainment. And we just started, going full force and working together. And here we are today.
So, you started off in the church.
Yeah. I grew up very small town, like 3 family churches. They used to call they like older women would be like, oh, you the little boy that sing up at the church on the hill. Like that's when they would see me out and about. That's kind of how they would address me in a sense, like the older women.
So did the church get mad at you for going from like church music to like sexual music, or like how was that transition for you?
No, they didn't get mad only because like I don't make raunchy ass music. You know what I'm saying? I would say my great grandmother before she passed, I remember my first record, Applause, and I tried to show her the music video. She was like, I don't want to see that shit. It ain't singing no gospel. I'm like, how you gonna say you don't want to see that shit because it ain't gospel? But you cussing. So no, like because really the whole, because I've done a lot of things publicly. Really, my whole city's kind of followed me through the journey. So they've all really been supportive. They've all been extremely supportive.
That's good. That's good
Yeah.
to know. How was your transition going from gospel to R&B? Like how do you know like I don't want to sing gospel anymore. I just want to go straight into R&B music.
Crazy enough, when I met my manager, I actually was singing gospel at this like showcase, and I was in this group, if you want to call it that. And he came up to us after the show. He was like, "All right, so you don't sing gospel no more. Y'all are not a group. You need to sing R&B." So I was like, who is this guy? Like, who's telling me what I should be doing ever? But no, when I met him, it had been some time because everybody talks such a good game, especially being in the city of Atlanta, industry
Yeah.
wise. So I was just like, yeah, I hear you. You said you want to make music. You probably on the same shit everybody else is on. So, but no, we ended up, he was serious. We got in the studio probably like 2 days after we met. And from there, that was really how it took off. So, it was a bit of a transition because I didn't really have anybody that was kind of on my side that was serious and kind of knew what they were doing. So to meet him, it was definitely a flip or a bit of a transition, I must say.
So you just left your group like that? You didn't like say, all
I
right,
mean,
yeah,
we were cool. We honestly was doing it as a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay.
we weren't recording or making music. It was just like, we were just kind of like the go-to people to do certain things on campus and stuff like that. So it was just like a cool little hobby. So I was like, yo, I mean, if y'all not serious or want to make it a career, then I'm gonna kind of go over here and do this.
Well, I mean, at least I respect. That's a big thing. It's like some people like, man, you just gonna leave us like that. But since y'all didn't have that problem, that's really good.
I listen. I do everything with love and respect, and and being a bit real. It's like if you don't want to make it a career, I do. So
Yeah, I
if
get
you
what you're saying.
verbally don't want to, then I'm like, respectfully, I'm gonna go over here and do this. So, you know, I don't hold people back at all. Like, it doesn't matter what the level of, even if I'm hurt by something, if somebody feels passionate to go in another direction, I'm gonna let them go that way. And I'm not gonna act like they screwing me over or something. Like, no. You know, that's what you feel your life path is. So when I feel that way about myself, I, you know, kind of in my friendship or relationships, I respect that same type of courtesy.
So who was your favorite gospel singer growing up, and who was your favorite R&B singer growing up?
My favorite gospel single growing up. Oh wow, Lee Williams.
Hmm.
Because my
Okay.
grandfather used to.
Okay. Uh-oh. Well, I can see you now. You did black
Did you
out for a
see me?
little bit.
We good?
I can see you now. Yeah,
All
you
right.
stopped at Lee Williams.
Yeah. That was my grandfather's favorite. My favorite. His record "I Can't Give Up Now" was my grandfather's favorite song, and I grew up. All of my on my street, all 10 of my neighbors were my family members. So me and my grandfather was like we were close. He was almost like a second father. And and crazy enough, you know, me and my sister and a lot of my cousins, we were blessed to kind of grow up with our great grandparents. So nobody had passed in our bloodline up to great grandparents. So my grandfather was
Wow.
actually the first person in our family, you know, to pass. So it was kind of a bit of a, you know, hard type of thing to deal with. So that song just kind of, you know, kind of weighed on me throughout the years. And favorite R&B singer, hands down, Prince. I tell everybody the same thing. My father used to wake us up like every Sunday morning, wiping me and my sister's face with a cold rag. He would be blasting Prince. Like that was the time that he cleaned. Through the week, he would harass the shit out of us and make us clean the house. But on Sunday, he would cook breakfast, be like, if you can stay up all night, you can get up early. And then he'll be blasting Prince. So that was pretty much how I got like into, I guess, my first intro to R&B music. Because I don't come from like a musical family or anything.
I see that. So Prince, really? So that's different. Like, I mean, so what did you take away from Prince? Like, what, like, damn, he's cool.
Really, because I mean, growing up in church, and then I grew up like my only outlet in school was like singing classical music. Like I joined choir in 3rd grade and did it all the way through college. So my only outlet was to be in a choir, and I sang first tenor. So Prince was like one of the first artists that I was introduced to that kind of sang in that higher register, and women loved it, and it was cool, and it was like the thing to do, you know. And he was confident in his gifts. So for me, I kind of identified in just like his voice, and just his artistry was like unapologetic. The shit was all him all the time. So for me, I really just fell in love with his artistry as a whole.
Okay, I can respect that. So starting off, like you just getting R&B. So like, what are some lessons that you would like probably tell yourself like, don't ever do this again for people who want to go into the music business, like starting off, like what are some advice you'll give someone?
Don't ever do this again. You know, crazy enough, I feel like what I would say is I think 50% of me wants to say I wouldn't say don't do anything per se. Outside of, you know, not being a bad person, don't do bad business. I would say don't be mean to people like interns just because you think, oh, well, they work under me. They're nobody. They ain't got no. Everybody is learning throughout the journey. So I would definitely say the biggest thing, you know, would be show respect and love to anybody you cross, because you never know where you're gonna see them at. I remember my first internships, you know, being at the radio station, and now that same radio station is playing my records. And then my intern manager, she was posting, like DJ Tracy Steele was like my first like real industry internship. And
Really?
yeah, so I remember her posting, I'm like, yo, I used to, like, he was my intern at the radio stations, and now my station, he's in rotation at my station. So, you know, and she always showed love from the beginning or whatever. So it's good to have that type of interaction. But just imagine if she was some type of vicious ass person. I'm just like, yo, we in some of the same rooms now. And in some of those rooms, most of the people can be there for me. So imagine if she was some type of person and I, you know, was like, I don't want to be like, you just never know who you could come across. So, but one thing I will say is, as an artist, I've learned you got to go through certain stuff. Like, it's a lot of shit that I know my team tried to protect me from, But it was just like, yo, hitting that wall or dealing with certain people or certain situations is really what grew me up as an artist and as a person. Like, and these past few years has probably been the most growing up I've had to do immediately. But it's definitely, it's made me honestly a better recording artist. Even, you know, getting sick and having to take my tonsils out, and that, like, they nicked an artery in my neck, so we had to redo a procedure the next day. And like, I had to talk to vocal coach because my vocal cords were swollen. I never honestly thought I was gonna lose my voice just because the shit was just terrible. But that experience, honestly, it changed my voice for the better. Like, it changed the texture of my voice, the tone, the raspiness. Like, it was something that added to me. So I think there's certain times where you have to go through shit, and when you come out on the other side, you're like, oh, okay, I took something from this. As long as you're taking something from what you go through and not repeating it, I think it's, you know, sad to say, but you have to go through some shit.
Yeah, I mean, you really do. You really truly do. But starting also, like, let's talk about this right now. So with you being in R&B,
Yeah.
how big is support to you?
Support. I mean, I think for any artist, support is amazing. What I will say is I don't expect nobody to support me. Now I have my close friends where I'm just like, I don't give a damn how bad something may be. I expect you, you know, like, but I also still expect them to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just feel like people don't owe you anything. And as an artist or entrepreneur or creative, it is our job to prove our point. So a lot of people, you know, I'll be like, well, don't worry about them. They some haters. I'm like, no. But I can call everybody a hater. Some people just don't like what you do. And that's cool. You don't have to always like what I do, but you will respect my hustle. You will respect my accomplishments, whether you like it or not. So there's certain things where, you know, there's certain times I have to get to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't really care how they feel because I know we make great music. Now, music is a preference and you may not like it, but you're not gonna tell me the song don't sound good. You're not gonna tell me the performance wasn't good because we work on excellence. The performance is good. You just may not be your taste. You just may not like me. That's cool. But I do feel as an artist, you know, we have to prove our point, and that's kind of what I work towards. I'm like, I ain't worried about if it's if I get a no in certain situations, I'm like, I bet that means I need to work a little harder so that the next time I come up in here, I'm gonna be so hot they're gonna have to tell me yes regardless.
So how was it like recording your first like single or album? Like, how was the pressure of doing that? Like, how do you feel? What's going through your mind?
Um, I was just a lot of fumbling around, to be quite honest. Like, I worked with this producer Teddy P and Jordan Armstrong, who's actually they've been very successful in the gospel realm. But I love working with musical people. So everybody that was around me was just like fucking amazing. So I'm just like, hey, I ain't never recorded before. We're gonna see how this goes. So it came out really, really good because of I was surrounded by professionals. But you know, I definitely had to find my way. Like I said, you know, it's really been a journey. It took me going through a whole lot of stuff to get, because for a couple of years, I really struggled with like even putting emotion on records. Now, I can make a vibe record in 30 minutes to an hour and you can feel it. You know, you can believe it. You can hear the pain or however you want to describe it. But it really took some time for me to get to a place to where I could record a record and really immerse myself in the emotion of whatever that may be. You know, if it's something that's supposed to be like a ballad, I can now record a ballad and hear that and have a girl in the room be like, yo, I'm about to fucking cry because this shit sounds good. I wasn't always there when I got started. So, you know, it was that really was my struggle for me, was putting emotion and texture into what I was recording.
Okay. Well, you guys want to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this.
Located in Gulfport, Mississippi, Race Bakes specializes in home-baked desserts from vanilla pound and Italian cream cheese cakes to highly recommended and oh-so-delicious German white chocolate cake. Race Bakes can be reached via Facebook, email, or by phone at 601-791-1393. Try Race Bakes today. You won't be disappointed because where there's a whisk, there's a way. And please tell them your boy Rodney White sent you.
All right, we are back, you guys. And again, if you want your commercial played on the show, then send me an email And today we are talking with Felixx, the Prince of R&B. You know, he done been through a lot. I didn't know you had your tonsil removed. Like that's really, I can really see that can be devastating for an artist when you are used to sounding one way, and
Yeah,
then your voice a whole nother way.
yeah,
So how is it when? So when it takes your voice,
yeah.
how was that struggle going from like I can say this, now I sound like this?
I mean,
Like you have to like redo your sound.
because I had been okay. So it went from 2018 when I was on the TV show The Four. I spent the entire year in California recording, performing, doing this and that. At the end of the year, I ended up getting really sick. Couldn't figure out why. I really thought that getting tonsillitis and the flu was normal. I thought you just get that out, and people got that all the time. But apparently, if you get it like more than 3 times in like 5 years, you need your tonsils taken out. I was getting it like 4 or 5 times a year. So I was like, oh shit. I mean, it's the season change. It's time to get sick, I guess. So getting that done and just kind of going through that process, you know, it changed the texture of my voice, but I think because I had been working for so long, it was something I was able to maneuver through. But like I said, you know, it changed it for the better. And I think I was in a place to receive that transition. For me, it was really a spiritual journey. So I was in a place where I was like, okay, I know this is happening. I feel this happening. Let me just go ahead and feel like while I couldn't talk or anything, let me just go ahead and feel these emotions and to get that shit out the way. Cause come literally this happened in like end of March, April, May-ish that happened. Come the second week
Oh,
in
this year?
June of last year.
Oh, okay.
So come the second week in June after that, I was like, yo, I got a contract with Six Flags to where I have to go sing. So it was like, I don't really have time to dwell on this, you know? So going into that show, I could just really tell like the texture and tone of my voice had changed. I didn't lose any notes, thank God, you know what I'm saying? But it was, I was able to deal with it because I'm working with professionals like Jan Smith, who does Justin Bieber and Usher and Nicki Minaj, you know, having those phone calls with her at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I have been doing vocal lessons with Deborah Killings, who worked with everybody under LaFace and Outkast. So, you know, I have some good, solid people around me to really kind of help me nurture it through and really deal with it. So that's just one of those blessings and just, you know, one of those things where I'm like, you know, always surround yourself with professionals and good people. And I don't say professional as in like, they worked with this person, that person. I'm just talking about somebody that knows their craft, that knows what they're doing. They ain't got to work with celebrities. They ain't got to work with this and that person. But as long as you have somebody that's around you that's grounded and knows what they're talking about, they really help you get through those type of moments.
So how important is it having the right team around you?
I think it's like, it's probably right up the number 1, number 2, because I mean, you can be talented and be alone. You can be talented and be a terrible person, or you can be trash and have the best fucking marketing team, best management team, and you can go further than anybody. I feel like for me, you know, it's not. I know a lot of times they get kind of frustrated because I'll be like, my manager, I'll be like, we did this. My manager's like, no, bro, it's you. You're like, no, it wasn't just me. It was all of us. When I record, you know, it's me. 9 times out of 10, my manager, Anthony Clea, and then there's my songwriter producer partner, Nassan Joseph. The sound that my music, that was a collective. We came up there as a collective. You know, of course, it's my voice. You know, I'm singing it. And I'm gonna always, you know, have to insert myself and make those creative decisions. But the writing and the production and a lot of the ideas, that's us as a collective. If I shoot a video, I'm not shooting that alone. You know, that's all of us. So you can have an amazing product and have the wrong team around you, and that can break it down. You know, you can be working with people that's out here doing bad business, and you wonder why nobody don't want to work with you. It's because they don't like who you're surrounded by. So I think having a solid team is top 1, number 2 on the list, because one of the best things for me is, you know, working with people that, you know, as a creative, sometimes you just be like, yo, I'm not feeling this shit. Like, it's just not working. It's not happening. You can get in your head. I'm an overthinker. So sometimes I'd be like, I fucking hate it. It don't sound good. They be like, no. just trust it. Trust what you have, you know, believe. Because even when I'm recording, I will sing the same line repeatedly. Unless you tell me, stop, this is cool, let's move on. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna trust y'all, because I'm a control freak. I don't like to take my hands off of things sometimes. So I know with my last video we just shot for Christmas with You, I told my manager, I was like, listen, this time I ain't gonna just show up, but I'm gonna just show up. I'm gonna remove my hand away from a lot of stuff because I just be like, oh, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And then I forget about me doing my part as the artist to show up and perform. I'm like, you kind of stretch yourself thin. So you gotta have people around you that you can trust and just be like, you know what? I ain't gonna question this. I'm gonna just show up and I know that y'all are good. So this is gonna be good.
So you said that's number 2. So what is number 1 to you?
Number one for me is my faith. It's not for me. It's not a physical thing. It's literally a spiritual thing for me. Destiny and purpose. I think that if to be a creative or to entrepreneur or whatever it is you're doing, if it's not your purpose, you are doing it in vain. Now, I will say sometimes something that you try to do it doesn't have to be your purpose, but it's the journey that's your purpose. So yeah, you may try to do this for 6 years, but it's what you learn in that 6 years that catapults you to do what you're supposed to do. So I'm not saying don't take those steps, but what I am saying is the best thing I've encountered was, knowing I am where I'm supposed to be. And I think that's because you can not be where you can be in the wrong place. Now God will meet you where you are. But I mean, he ain't gonna do it all the time. Now. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you got to catch the gyps and be like, yo, bro, you're supposed to be over here. You over there doing that. I need you over here doing something else. So for me, a lot of times I've had to ask myself, like, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I working with who I'm supposed to work with? And a lot of times, when I get in those confusing moments, I was like, I'm taking my hands off all of it. And because I don't know where I'm supposed to go next. And if I make the decision, I feel like I'm going to end up in the wrong place. So, sometimes I will remove myself in the sense of trying to control what I think is supposed to happen next. And I'll just take steps every day. I'll just do things. I'm like, okay, let's just do this in excellence, do this in excellence. What's supposed to find me is going to find me. And it always does.
Man, that's really true. You really I'm a spiritual person as well. And I always tell people, if that is not in alignment with what God has for your life, it will never take off. And sometimes like I wanted to, but did you pray about it? Because even when 2020, how did a COVID-19 affect you music, career wise? What did it put off that you had planned for the year?
I mean, it made me change a lot of things. It definitely played with a whole lot of money because when it popped off, we were coming from the Carolinas. I had done 5 high school shows, because I love doing pep rallies. I love performing for high schools because I know I was told, coming from a small town, I ain't gonna say they didn't tell you that you couldn't achieve your goals because I've always just kind of strong-headed going towards one thing. So, but I just feel like giving back to those environments and letting them know you can do whatever the fuck you want to do if you actually want to do it. So, I had done those. So by that time we had 12 proms lined up. I had to come out. I had a show in Miami. We were literally about to hit the road and then it was all right, shut down. So, I had an EP that was supposed to come out. It was going to be, and actually my single Somebody was just now hitting radio everywhere. It had just hit number 36 on the Shazam charts in the city of Atlanta.
Look at you.
So it was going crazy. And I was stop. So that means we stopped my EP AZ98. So a couple of months later, really about a month or two, we got back in the studio and I did a new EP called R&B. So it was just going to be all vibe records in quarantine. So that's when I dropped My Baby. But then we had to deal with the whole, George Floyd and police brutality. And we was just all right, we got to stop everything because culture isn't here right now. We have to kind of show respect to where we are as a community. So we released, I released my single Black Man. And that was my first single to ever hit the charts on Apple Music R&B. It was entered in top 10. So for me, I got a lot of amazing looks during quarantine. So it was kind of in between because I'm like, shit, I bought a new car in quarantine. So I'm just I don't know, it was bad, but it was also kind of good. I got the cover of Rolling Out. It's my first cover story. So
I know, home team. So let's talk about this. So how did you get that? So what was the process getting Rolling Out? How did that make you feel?
So I've been around. I think I've been adjacent to Rolling Out since I've been in college, since I've been in Atlanta. And, like I said, going from interning, even like when I interned at Patrick Studios, and now, you know, talking to the managers that hired me, and they'd be like, oh, well, we thought you were going to be too busy and you didn't want to come. So to be around, I remember applying for internship like back in college and not getting it. And then, you know, in 2000, and I think it was 17, I did my single release for Thought, and we packed out the office. We did it like in that, like, it was a garage space at the time. I think y'all was still building the new studio. So in between, there was like that parking garage. So I did a show there, and it was packed. So fast forward, like I know I did a show with R&B Untapped, and Rolling Out covered it. So now to be in this space to where I felt like, you know, they had been around and been like, you know what, we've been seeing you grinding. We think you're deserving of a cover story. So for me, I felt like it goes back to, I don't expect people to support me. I just expect that we're going to work hard enough to where when we come around, what we've done is going to be respected. And it's going to make people want to support it. One, because it's good, but also because we do good business. We treat everybody like family. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're going to get over on me, but I don't meet a stranger. Anybody we see, you know, we just like, yo, what's up? You just an extension of me and my family. Like, we can all, let's do business. The world is big enough for everybody. It's always all love. So to get the cover, I felt like it was a journey to where everything just came full circle. So I was just like, you know, once again, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's growing. I can see growth. We went from, you know, maybe not being able to get it, being denied for the cover. That's, you know, we tried that before, and it was like, no, it's not the right time. So to be here and to be in this moment and be like, all right, the time is now. We think you deserve it. We respect what you're doing, and you know, I lose my words because sometimes I try, you know, like, oh shit, this is actually just fucking dope. If I could just say the shit was dope, that's what I could just say.
No, you fine. So you really had a persistence. That's one thing I respect about people, just in whatever genre or whatever field you in when it comes to this, you know, making money off of people where you don't have to work a 9 to 5. When you are persistent and you have that, like, that tenacity just to keep going, and they might, people, I always tell people be looking at you, they don't say nothing. Like, it's always like you might get these likes, but likes don't get you nothing. But when that right person see you at that right time, they come reaching out to you to guide you. And you like, you didn't give up. You kept doing it. You didn't worry about it. You moved on to the next project. And now they came back like, hey, you want to feature on a, like, that's tenacity. There's something to tell you that, like, whatever, you don't give up, keep going, and just be great. You know what I mean? You can really sing. So I don't say about everybody, you know. We'll keep it real, but
I appreciate it.
You know, I'm glad you don't do a lot of auto-tune, because I'll be like, well, can you really sing, or you just good auto-tune singer? That's a totally different thing.
You know, everybody sounds good in the studio. Technology is a great thing. You know what I'm saying?
It is, ain't it? Everybody dropping. I'm like, well, I didn't think you were going to be a singer. But anyway, but how important are contracts being a music artist? Because I see a lot of artists who be in these 360 deals. Can you explain that? Do you even know what that is, being an artist? Like what we should not look for and things like that?
So I think just to kind of sum it up, and honestly, I could be wrong, because legal language is an art form. Like, people, you go to school for that. Like, some people just have a knack of talking in circles. And that's what the contract is. It's literally talking in circles, but also saying whatever it's a fine way of saying whatever you do, I own it, or I own a part of it. And there's not really an out per se. So for me, I haven't been pressed for certain things because, so take the TV show. When I did the 4, I had turned down every singing show there was, because they had hit us up. And I was like, nah, the contracts are crazy. They're just ridiculous. They were like, it's whatever you do for the next 10 years. And then when the show stops, you can't do this for 6 months. I didn't want to be tied up for that type of shit. So, you know, luckily I told God, I was like, you know what? The next opportunity you send me, I'm not going to turn it down. I'm going to explore it. So that's when the 4 came. But luckily the contract was, you know, I think it was like 90 days after the season finale, good to go. We don't want to hold you, and we don't want you to hold us. So for me, those are the type of situations I look to be in. So I know with my team, you know, we're not really pressed to sign over anything because we've had those offers, but I'm just like, why would I give you my life, especially for a quick check, when 5 years down the road, I'm not gonna own my masters. I ain't gonna be making no money. Don't offer royalties. I'm not gonna be making any money. It's not gonna be possible for me to make, and I'm gonna be in debt. So it's a quick fix, and not even a quick fix. It's a satisfaction in the now. So I think it's definitely important for artists to kind of build to build their own brand to where they can have leverage to demand certain things. We really want it to work to where we can walk into a room and be like, no, we ain't doing it. This is how we're gonna do it. Respectfully, take it or leave it. Because it's just business at the end of the day. You doing what's best for you and your company, what's best for you in your pockets. We gotta do the same for ours.
Exactly.
So I think it's definitely it's major to have somebody around you that understands contracts, but also I think work to where you can have a say in what you put into a contract.
So songwriting is a very, very important factor in when you being a music artist. How important is you to vibe with your songwriter? And with that being said, which songwriter do you want to work with in the future that like your dream songwriter? Like I work with this guy or this girl. I know I made it in the music.
Yeah. I think and not even just a songwriter, everybody in the room, it's important to vibe. Because if the energy is shifty and shaky, the record's gonna be shifty and shaky. Unless you're making something that calls for that. So I'm very big, like when it comes to recording, sometimes I'm like, all right, let's just let loose, have a good time. We may have a couple of drinks or something like that. But most times it's kind of a serious moment for me because I'm just like, and I prefer silence, not silence that nobody can talk, but like, I don't like too many people in the room, too much running around in and out, all the extra noise. I'm just like, no. Like I want everybody to kind of be like centered, zen, focused on what we're doing. And just because for me, the creative part is you can't skip over it. And unfortunately, I feel like because of social media and the smoke and mirrors that come along with everything, people want to skip over the creative aspect. I'm like, no, at the end of the day, the goddamn song got to be good. This is the most important part. You can have the best marketing in the world, but you're not going to never make it past that glass ceiling because the song just ain't damn good. So I'm always like, I don't want to play around with the music part because this is the most important. It's the music industry. So, and just when it comes to a songwriter, I would love to work with Pharrell or Sia. Both of them, I feel like they're not in a box. They can do anything that they want to do. Even Miguel, like just his ability to write in different ways has for me been something that I'm just like, oh, I admire that. I need some of that in my life. Like I gotta have that experience. I would love to work with one of them.
Okay, those good people. I think Victoria be a good. Is her name Victoria Monet?
Victoria Monet. Yeah,
I think that would be good too.
Yeah, I actually agree with that 1000%. I know she's been doing a lot of writing with Ariana Grande and just to hearing how diverse her projects are and how they're able to go do the pop stuff and they can do the R&B stuff. I'm just like, all right, I can see her. That's somebody that Scooter Braun, that whole camp. They're amazing with picking songwriters and producers and different creators that they bring into the room to work on his artist project. So I would definitely love to work with Victoria Monet. That'd be dope.
All right, and the final question before we get to for you to sing, just a snippet of your single.
Got you.
If you could work with one female R&B artist,
yeah,
who would it be?
SZA.
Okay.
Easy. I like SZA because the way she will ride a track isn't what you would think that she would do. It's not really conventional. You wouldn't like when she does something, you would think she's about to do something, but she does something else. So that's really why I would love to write. And then her writing is very conversational. It's non-conventional. She say shit that I'm just like, and it's something that I make sure we've implemented. I'm like, you don't have to always dress it up and make it because it's a song. Like it has to sound like, oh, the most immaculate writing. I think SZA says the most simple shit that everybody's thinking, and she just says it. And I'm just like, that's the type of place I would like to dwell in because a lot of times you can overthink music and it becomes kind of weird. But I feel like she's done a great job. Just like, I'm gonna just say this shit how it is, and this is how I feel
it. So you got this new hit single out. I listened to it. I thought it was great. It's good to hear it on, YouTube and stuff. But can you give a snippet of acapella of your new hit song?
So I hope you got your Instagram ready. All your girlfriends about to be jealous. So baby, go ahead and be petty. Cause you are gonna do it already. I've been working hard all year. I know I missed out on some moments that you could have held against me. Baby, you stay down for real. So there's nothing that I wouldn't give.
You know what? I already say you can sing, so you can sing. Like that's really good. So now with our artist, our guest spotlight. So this for this section of the show, just tell the world what you got going on, and like this like just how you just plug yourself. Like look at me on here, da 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 da.
So definitely make sure you follow me on everything at Felixx Music, FELIXX Music. My new single, Christmas With You, is out. The video is dropping very, very soon. We have shot it. I'm excited for that to happen. I got in top of the year, I'll be releasing a new single called She Like It. It's produced by Mr. Hanky. It has an Earth, Wind, and Fire sample. It's from Reasons. It's the first time that the estate has ever cleared a sample. Actually cleared that record to be used as a sample. So I'm excited to have the estate behind it, the family actually be like, yo, you know what? This is amazing. And if you know, some of them have the pleasure of hearing it, they would actually love it. So, you know, definitely stay tuned for that. I'm actually releasing some dope content with Triller and Pepsi coming out really, really soon. Just shot some stuff with Spinrilla. So, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on in the digital space, but also we got a lot of the music coming out very soon.
Yeah, you guys, and clearly he got a voice. So, you know, I'm supportive. I'm a fan because, like I said, I'm really big. Like I come from, if I could sing, you know, I really would try, but no, I can't hold a tune. I really can't. I can't do. I mean, in my head, I think I sound wonderful. But
listen, everybody sounds great in the shower.
Exactly, I'm a shower singer. But like, I think it's very important to support artists and support and be behind people who can really sing. I feel like you had a passion, you had a drive, which you even going through. I didn't even know you even went through surgery like that. For your tonsil surgery, but you just keep going on. Yeah. Like. I respect that, and the fact that you ain't scared to sing, respect you sing. Like I feel like when you're a singer, and you say you're supposed to be a singer, you should like I can't sing. Like no, like you know, like do it. You are a singer. Or are you on here for good? Like are you? It's like what are you doing?
Yeah.
But like you guys, Felixx, thank you for coming on. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all make sure y'all go stream his single and make sure y'all go buy his single and buy the album. Support his
all of those things.
Yeah, follow him, and I see y'all next Tuesday for the show finale, and y'all be good.
All right.